All right, I'm excited for this next article because I actually talked with Daniel a little bit about it earlier in the week. So I know he has some strong opinions, so let's find out. This article comes to us from TheVerge.com. The EU proposes mandatory USB-C on all devices, including iPhones, and specifically, I think this is just targeted at iPhones because they're the ones, using the lightning cables that have a different port there. But I don't know, Daniel, we want to start with your anger?
So at first I'm like, what's wrong with Apple? Why do they always got to do something different? And, and then I actually ended up reading their response to this, and I thought it was pretty level-headed.
Apple's response?
Yeah, Apple's response to this, where they said that this will stifle innovation. I said, okay, it's a bit of a boilerplate answer, but there might be some truth to that. Because if you're now dictating to me governmentally that this is what you must have and you can't do anything else, well, all of a sudden my libertarian views start coming up and go, well, who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do with what I'm building? And I don't like that either. So I think that Apple might have actually a leg to stand on with this. Don't force people. I get what you're trying to do, trying to reduce waste, but do that through programs of, hey, let's reduce waste. If you would, please start using more USB-C. That way we can, consolidate down into one form. But we're not going to force you to do that because we don't want to stymie innovations and we don't want to tell people what you can and cannot do. Liberty is better.
But to play devil's advocate or EU advocate, they did ask first and said, we'd like you guys to move to this. Here's why. We're filling landfills with unnecessary cables. People are having drawers full trying to figure out different devices. You think back to old smartphones, you have, everybody had their own thing.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's kind of everyone's gone this one route except for the one guy. So
I was about to say, well, who is not USB-C other than Apple at this point?
Get on board, Apple.
And I shall rebut.
Okay, please do.
So, because when I read Apple's comment, my thought wasn't, I think they have a point. Mine was, well, that's total bullshit. and there's two reasons for that. So one, Apple's been using Lightning connectors for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, they have not innovated in 10 years.
That's
that
true.
connector has not changed. They increased the speed a little bit.
Yeah.
But then they gave up on that right away and flipped over to USB-C on the iPads. So
That's
they're
right, they
already using USB-C. So don't give me crap about innovation.
Okay.
That's like pretend.
It's a theoretical argument. It's not necessarily like an applicable argument.
Because they're saying we could come up with something that is this tiny single pin.
Right. Because, then you've defined a standard regulatorily, right? You're saying this is the standard for EU countries. You must use this.
Yeah.
And, is that the way it is with power? Like, is that regulated by the government that you must use those weird plugs that they use over there, those different ones?
So it's not required, but it's kind of one of those things where
universal,
right? And it's such a required service by people that you really
don't
can't
play
support.
ball. Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
So maybe just through more pressure. And if the stinking Mac and Apple lovers out there would stop thinking that everything they do is vomiting gold.
Well, no, if the lighting's so great, where's that on my MacBook?
That's another great question.
Yeah.
Right? I think that cable right there is a prime example of them just kind of like doing whatever they feel like doing. Yeah. But I don't want to stop them from doing whatever they feel like. They're their own company.
Yeah. Well, so the real reason that the lightning cables exist is because of the MFi program, right? The Made for iPhone program. That lightning cables have a little identifier chip in them. And so,
do they really?
Yeah, they do. So when you plug in an iPhone or whatever with one of those lightning cables, it knows whether that's an MFi certified cable or not. And there are some devices that will be rejected. And this was a big problem several years ago where certain chargers wouldn't charge your phone. And it was because they weren't MFi. So
screw you, Apple.
So it'll say this device, this accessory is not supported. It'll say on your phone.
But the real nail in the coffin on this one is if we rewind back to 2009, all the cell phone manufacturers got together, right? And they mentioned this in the article. Apple, Samsung, Huawei, Nokia, they all got together and they said, all right, we're going to team up. We're going to pick a common standard. We're going to do better on these chargers. And so Huawei, Samsung, Nokia all switched to micro USB. Apple stopped building the cable into their power block. So you could use anybody's power block, but you still had to use Apple's cable. They stuck with Lightning. And so Apple felt like they did enough by giving you a USB port on a power block and still
you
using their
kidding
own
me?
cable. No, this is fact. Fact. Not Don made up like normal.
You're not you're not helping my case of like trying to learn to love and live with Apple products.
No, I use the hell out of Apple
I know
stuff.
you do. I know. So, which even makes it more credible because.
So here's my guess of what's going to happen here is that we've been hearing the rumors forever, and I mean even up to this iPhone 13 just coming out, that we're going to get this portless iPhone. It's going to have no cable. It's just going to be NFC. So I think that's the double birds that Apple's going to give to the EU. Go, well, you know what? The no cable. You get no cable.
That's
now.
right.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. With the last version of the iPhone, I think it was the iPhone 12. Apple stopped including a power adapter. Like, hey, we're going to save the planet by giving you less. And so the way it was positioned was, hey, you've already got a phone charger, just reuse it; it'll be fine.
Well, wireless charging is now.
But
do you think that they could like form fit the Lightning into a USB-C connector?
Well, you've
maybe
seen
just
those.
go that
Don't
route?
they have cables that it's like a little adapter that flips down
Oh yeah.
on it?
So yes, I have that actually.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that increases the cost of the cable. But if you think about it, you've got things like your USB-C is just a connector, right?
Correct.
So there is the USB 3.1 protocol or whatever, 3.2 now, that runs on top of a USB-C connector. But there's also Thunderbolt that runs on top of a USB-C connector. So whatever software innovation Apple has can be done on USB-C, and that's evidenced by the iPad and the MacBooks that are all USB-C right now, right?
I will say that I love USB-C for my phone. I hate it for my laptop.
Yeah?
Yeah, just because of like how a laptop gets used and typically abused. It's really easy to like break the port or break the cable itself.
It is
and then
smaller.
You got this janky thing going on, and that was true with when I had a MacBook. And it's
I did
true
like
with
that
this one.
MagSafe
Man, that was
magnetic one.
see that.
was
That
good.
was a great product right there. They should have never lost.
And you're
that.
right. That's the innovation that we're going to lose.
I want that back.
Well, I'm shocked that I expected Don to be on the same side as Daniel there of screw you EU telling me what we can do.
I've kind of resigned to the fact like the EU is going to tell you to do stuff anyway.
Sure.
Like, that's what they do. Like
Doesn't
they,
mean we should agree with it.
yeah, like they don't have freedom of speech. There's
F you, Don.
like the VAT is this incredible tax that applies. They have all sorts of things that they force upon people.
Don has
this is
given
just-
up.
When are you moving?
Or the RHOC certifications that all equipment has to go under, and like there's a whole bunch of stuff. So this is just one more regulation, but I don't want people to feel like Apple is the victim here because Apple is a business making money and they don't care about the customer.
And if I came across as like trying to the only reason I singled out Apple is because the article did. I meant that across the board, honestly. You shouldn't be government shouldn't come in and tell me how I should build a product. I should be able to get to do that.
So
if I want the battery to explode next year, I should be allowed to do that.
I'm building.
Can't get on the plane
I'm
with it,
making
but-
phone bombs all day long.
now we know where Don was the last 2 weeks. He was house hunting in Finland.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed that segment, be sure to check out our entire podcast available in the playlist right here. And you can always subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech news and other happenings in the IT world. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. I hope to see you there.